There is just nothing like living it live at Monster Jam, and in today's world, you need to get your tickets early. These things sell out earlier and earlier, especially in these huge stadiums and a lot of the great locations. Make sure you have your tickets early for the greatest night out for the entire family at Monster Jam. Going over to the hot seat, Lindsey Wink's the leader. He's with Brent.
All right, Lindsey, well, you knocked Scarlett right out of the seat. You tore it up out there.
Yeah, we got a great track out here. We're having a lot of fun. We got Checker Chuck's Cragen on board, huge transmissions. We're not afraid to go out there and tear it up. We got solid trucks. Don did a great job. My truck felt great. I'm sure Bounty Hunter's going to come in here and one up us all.
Well, we'll see Bounty a little bit later, Lindsey. Right now, though, here's a guy not afraid to air it out. Look at Leo Donald come out strong and fast. Now, he's filling in, while Adam Anderson, who would normally be driving this truck, is filling in for his father, Dennis Anderson, who's injured. Dennis is gravedigger. We'll be out with Adam behind the wheel later. But let's get to Leo Donald and Paz, Ken. This is a guy, he's won racing here on speed we saw earlier this year, who really fits in well with a Monster Jam team. He comes from an off-road background.
Great donut right there. He was having a tough time getting it to work because you can feel it, man. It's a heavy, loamy dirt out there, and it will bite you and flip the truck over. He didn't want to do that early. He's very aggressive in the off-road truck now. That's coming into the monster truck. He's had a lot of seat time. He's getting stronger, better all the time. A very, very competitive driver, and look at that, man. A great onboard shot right into a sky wheelie, standing on the throttle. The man from the Garden State putting on a show.
You really are getting a similar view as to what Lee's looking at with the placement of that camera. What great shots. That's what you feel like when you're flying through the air in a Monster Jam machine. Leo Donald is rocking this place right now. The crowd's loving it.
He's really putting Taz through its paces. You can see that front brake rotor really lit up, man. He's working everything in there. Awesome donut. Again, another great onboard shot. We might have a new leader here.
We might. You know, you see that shot. I have to ask one of these guys one of these days how they do this without getting dizzy. Just that little bit. Looking at the camera makes me dizzy. Wow. Nice sky wheelie. He has filled the clock. Now the judges allow him one more hit after the clock goes zero. Then they are required to turn in their scores. If Paz wants to keep going for the fans, well, rock on, brother.
Beautiful show. That's exactly how you get it done. Oh, whoa. And that's how you finish it up if you really want to light everybody up.
On fire. It will, I was going to say burn itself out, but it's going pretty good. The Monster Jam officials en route. Lee's going to go ahead and get away from it a little bit. Let these guys do their work. They're the officials on the scene.
Any type of fluid, I mean, any hydraulic fluid, power steering fluid, anything that might come out at that point, those things are so hot and it drips on the headers, it'll immediately cause a flame. So my guess is it wasn't too critical. They'll get it put out right away. But take a look at this. This is when we were on board with him. Slap wheelie right there, just really standing on it.
Beautiful donuts right here. The best that we've seen so far in this competition. Leo Donald may indeed just have taken the lead away from Lindsey Wink. Again, Lindsey's score was a 23 for Iron Outlaw. That's what Lee's trying to beat. He did everything he could to beat it. Now it's up to the judges.
Again, and it ends the show up with a donut, and then as you can see, a little bit of fluid got on that brake rotor back there, which is glowing red, and that's what ignited everything. So they'll put that out pretty quickly.
Tip of the hat to Minnesota's Brian Braunschweig. He was the first official there with the fire extinguisher. Paz does not score high enough to knock Lindsey Wink out of the hot seat. So it's Wink number one, Paz and Scarlet Bandit tied for number two. They're chasing Iron Outlaw. The next to go after him, veteran Alan Pizzo and his new Predator.
Well, I think we now know what the judges want to see. The judges want to see some really big air if you're going to take over the lead, because Lee did an awesome show. He hit everything out here, gave him something a little different, but he just didn't have that huge air we saw out of Lindsey Wink, and apparently that's what the judges want to see here tonight.
I think you have summed it up well, because Don Breeden scored big with a heavy, big air assault as well.
Now, that's something the drivers have to pay attention to. They have to try, especially if you're late in the order, try and figure out what those judges are looking for.
Well put, Ken. That's one of the things that most of the good drivers, the drivers who score well, will analyze. They'll do two things sitting in these trucks. They'll sit there, watch what the others are doing, trying to think of something they can do different. But then, as you say, what are the judges looking for? Where are they giving points? And, Ken, I think you're on it. I think you're in Houston tonight. They're going for big air, which may speak well for a guy named Mentz at the end of this draw. What happened here?
I heard something pop in the engine. He might have gotten a burst panel. Oh, no, he fires it right back up, so maybe he just loaded that thing up. You know, something we should also talk about here is he has a big lug tire on the front, like we typically see, but on the back, he doesn't have any lugs at all, so it actually works to his advantage to do those donuts.
Down toward the final 10 seconds. That's what's counting down on the upper left-hand part of your screen. Alan Pizzo will fill the clock. Had some highlight moments. I'll be surprised, though, if he knocks off Lindsey Wink and Iron Outlaw, who currently sits in the hot seat as our leader.
You see how low the front end is set on this truck. He always has it that way. It's really a setup more for racing than freestyle, because he just doesn't have the wheel travel that some of these other guys have.
Look at some of the highlights. Here comes Alan Pizzo, and this is going to hurt him, actually, going over the buses, because that's where Don Cretin and then later Lindsey Wink got the huge air.
Yeah, and that's what he can't do with that low front end setup on this particular truck. If you get that huge air, when he lands hard, it's going to beat him up pretty bad.
The score's about what we expected. It's a 15 for Alan Pizzo and the Predator. Lindsey Wink's the leader, but some big guns are coming after him. Don't go away. In Houston, the fans are on their feet because their hometown favorites coming up next. Right now, Lindsey Wink has the lead in the Iron Outlaw, so he's in the hot seat, been there for a while. David Smith and King Crunch will try and knock him out of it. Earlier, we talked to David and asked him if he really takes a close look at the scores when he brings King Crunch out to freestyle inside Monster Jam.
Whenever you're in the truck, you know, you're just out there and you're having fun and sort of cruising around and, you know, jumping what you want to jump kind of deal. And I don't ever really know exactly what I have done and you know, if it was good or not. You know, I just know that that's what I wanted to do. And if it turned out good, that's great. And if it didn't, then, you know, I can look back at it later and know what I needed to improve on. But I never really look at the scores for the most part. I mean, here in Houston, you always like to score well because we have a humongous fan base. But I just, I don't know. We'll just go out there and just run our own race again or run our own freestyle.
Nice wheelie to start it off. Good job from David Smith. And those comments came from a guy who has finished in the top 5 at the Monster Jam World Finals in freestyle before.
I like how you hear the fact when he comes back, he says, I really don't know what I did when I was out there. And as a driver, the brain is processing so much information so quickly, everything that's going on with the truck, where you're going next, how the truck is reacting, that you don't retain what you just did. You just miss that, and whatever's coming up next is what you're thinking about. If somebody brings it up, you'll remember it. But to just come back in and recall everything you did, it's impossible.
Time gone through a lot of changes in terms of the graphics and the styling on the side of the truck, and the new Fiesta sponsorship brings indeed with it an even newer design. Here he comes around again. The body looks like it's leaning over on it. Something's broken, obviously.
Well, it's just the sway bar's tweaked just a little bit, but that is a feeling that the driver has to get used to. We always talk about how the veterans do a better job. Well, if you're not a veteran, that feeling is that obviously you feel like you're going to turn over. Well, obviously David Smith's been in a truck a long time, so he's not going to worry about it. He kind of knows where that edge is, if you will. This truck also has a very high center of gravity. Some of the newer trucks are much lower center of gravity.
He'll finish it with the lengthiest set of donuts we've had all night, and the fans love him in Houston. David Smith and the Fiesta King Crunch. Lots of highlights to look at here, Ken.
Yeah, he came out here right off the bat, does this great wheel stand. The fans never get enough wheel stands. If you can do a wheel stand on the dirt with a 10,000-pound truck, you want to see it.
Nice air right here as he airs it out over the bus and then really nailed the donuts.
Missed something else. I mean, they just can't get enough donuts. He's done a couple different sets here, and you finish your show up with a donut, it's always a plus.
Let's see if it's enough to put him in the hot seat. It is not. Great performance from King Crunch. The fans love it, but he's 2 points. Coming up next, Carl Van Horn.
Freestyle, I want to make a good showing and try to do a good freestyle without demolishing the truck. Is what I like to do. I like to rock without rolling. That's what I call it.
Boy, does he come off as confident, doesn't he? Carl Van Horn, ready to rock.
He's got a plan.
Listen to him work that throttle and the power of that T-Max engine. Another big, awesome Ford. You can almost almost do an interesting book about this guy right now, the chapters of his life. He's gone through so many different evolutions. Remember those Firemouth days when he was rocking with that truck and continued to evolve? But I think he is happier with his T-Max team. I mean, he was even a Team Great Digger driver for a while, but it just didn't suit him. Carl wanted to be his own man, and I think he fits in with this team maybe better than any he's fit in with before.
But the key to everything he's done previously is all the experience that he's gotten out of it, and that's what the judges want to see. And we haven't seen these big airs since Lindsey Wink, so maybe we have a competitor now.
Yeah, he put that thing up there where Lindsey and Dawn did earlier. Carl Van Horn having an outstanding run in freestyle here at the Reliance Stadium, Houston, Texas. Still plenty of time to try and wow these judges. He's had a good start. Now, if he can finish big, he might give Lindsey a run for that hot seat. Now it sounds like the motor's locked down, Kevin.
He's just laying up here a little bit. He's losing some of that momentum he had going. It's critical here at the end is when you want to be picking up speed. One more time, though.
Wow, big time air from Carl Van Horn and the Traxxas T-Max.
Let it eat. Leave us some dirt, baby.
I think we may have a new leader. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know that he did not do everything the judges would have wanted to try and top Lindsey Wink. These donuts were great. His air was huge, which obviously the judges are looking for, and his momentum was outstanding.
Well, about 30 seconds left to go. He lost a little bit of steam, but then he picked it back up and ended hard, and right there, man, oh, so close.
He ties for the lead, so he'll at least get a piece of the hot seat. But coming up, more big guns, including a former two-wheel star, freestyling on 4. The fans in Houston have been having a great time all day. A huge turnout earlier before the event at the pit party. And if you're going to a Monster Jam Live, get there early for the pit party. A unique experience, unlike any other. You can get up close to the trucks, get those autographs, have a great time at the pit party. Coming up next, Damon Bradshaw. Damon's really been getting better and better in freestyle. So good that lately we haven't been able to get him to get on a truck.
So hopefully this week I can get everything in. I want to get in 90 seconds and not feel like I need to continue running. But it's like last week, I was having so much fun, and the truck was landing good, so I was wanting to go, you know, bigger and higher and hit everything that was on the floor. You know, obviously we don't plan the fires or the rollovers, and I would have rather been more talked about having an awesome freestyle than just the fire, and because obviously the damage that it does to the trucks and the work that has to come after that. But you know, and it was a surprise to me to see the fire because I didn't see it after till on photos. So once I got out of the truck, I never looked back at it. So I didn't even realize it till I saw photos, and I was like, holy cow, you know. And so, you know, again, thanks to the tech guys that were out there, you know, getting their job done.
Former star in Supercross, retired from that sport, and now making a name for himself in Monster Jam. Damon Bradshaw driving the U.S. Air Force Afterburner. And Ken, as we watch this young man develop, I mean, right off the bat, he just gets things so quickly.
He's been doing wheel stands his entire life, but now he's doing them in a four-wheel drive monster truck. And I love the way he came out here, kind of made a lap, and look at the gigantic air, of course, representing the Air Force right there proudly. And he went all the way around the entire course here, just stomping on the throttle. That thing bellowing horsepower out of those headers, and yanks it up on one tire right there, just letting the entire crowd know he's here for business.
Uh-oh, the truck. I thought he shut down for a minute, but now he's got it rolling again. You know, as we look at the back of the Air Force Afterburner, if you see Damon away from the track at a Monster Jam event, you know where he is? He's talking to Tom Metz. He's talking to Dennis Anderson. He's getting counsel from Paul Cohen and guys who have been there before. He soaks up all this, and then he puts it to use. Look at the air. This kid is coming strong.
I don't know if we've ever seen anybody. Oh, he got a bad kick there.
Yeah, 23 seconds left on the clock. He didn't want that, but well, you can just still tell what a high-energy freestyle. It won't be a winner because he had too much time left on the clock, but man, he showed us some great highlights. Ken, you know, I know with 24 trucks now, it may expand the future. You got to have some luck to win a world championship, but I honestly believe if he sticks with it someday, we're going to see him walk on stage as a world freestyle champion.
He has great control over this truck. He has great feel for what he's doing all the time. He's a natural driver coming out of course, Supercross. And I don't know that we've ever seen anybody pick it up so quickly and be at the level he's at. I mean, there's no question this guy definitely has a shot in his future at winning the World Finals. Just got a bad kick right there.
Yeah, if he could have been a little more centered up, that wouldn't have happened. He was a little bit too far to the right. So, again, that's something he'll learn coming into a jump like that in the future. But he's pumped up. His fans love it. Scores at 20, so he's near the top, but not enough to get the lead.